Daniel Mercer checked the rideshare app for the third time. Still arriving in 2 minutes. Beside him, his wife Emily was already holding her stomach, breathing unevenly. Dan, it's getting worse. Daniel didn't waste another second. We're leaving now. Today wasn't supposed to go like this. After years of waiting, this was their first baby, finally full term, finally stable. Everything had been planned. Hospital route, doctor, even backup contacts in Phoenix. But the car situation failed that morning. So they booked an SUV from a local ride service. Emily was barely seated when the contraction hit harder. Her grip tightened on Daniel's hand. Just hurry, please. The driver started reversing out of the driveway inside their quiet, HOA-controlled neighborhood when a sudden hand signal forced him to stop. A white maintenance truck pulled in front of the gate, blocking the exit. Daniel looked up. He already knew who it was before she even walked closer. Patricia Holloway, HOA board president, mid-60s, always composed, always watching, clipboard in hand. Daniel stepped out of the SUV immediately. Patricia, please move the truck. My wife is in labor. She didn't even look at Emily first. Instead, her eyes went straight to the front yard. You still haven't removed that yard display, she said flatly. Daniel blinked. What? That seasonal sign violates community aesthetic rules. Daniel turned his head toward the lawn. A small wooden sign read, Baby Mercer coming soon. Nothing loud, nothing offensive, just a family announcement. Emily's voice broke from inside the car. Daniel, please. The driver shifted uncomfortably. Sir, she really needs hospital care. Patricia finally looked toward the SUV, but her expression didn't change. I understand your situation, she said, but enforcement action is already in place. HOA vehicles cannot be moved during active compliance review. Daniel felt it immediately, that disbelief turning into anger. You are blocking a medical emergency over a sign? It's not personal, Patricia replied. It's policy. Another contraction hit Emily hard. She cried out. This time, a neighbor across the street opened their door, hearing it clearly. Daniel stepped closer to Patricia. Move the truck. Now. Her tone sharpened slightly. You need to lower your voice. My wife is in labor, and you are still in violation of community rules. That line hit like something unreal. Even the driver looked shocked now. Ma'am, with respect, this is not normal. But Patricia stood firm. For months she had been strict. Fines, warnings, notices. Daniel had ignored most of it, thinking it would settle down. It didn't. Emily suddenly grabbed Daniel's arm harder. Dan, something's wrong. Daniel's expression changed instantly. Not frustration anymore. Fear. He turned back to Patricia, voice lower now. If anything happens to her, this is on you. For the first time, she hesitated. But she still didn't move. And that hesitation, that silence, made everything worse. The SUV stayed trapped. Emily was still inside. And the contractions were getting closer. The SUV engine was still running, but nobody was moving anymore. Emily's breathing had changed completely now. Short, broken, uncontrollable. Dan, I can't hold it. Daniel leaned into the back seat, panic rising in his chest. Look at me. Just breathe, okay? Help is coming. But even as he said it, he knew help wasn't close enough. Across the driveway, Patricia Holloway still stood beside the HOA maintenance truck, unmoving, watching. A neighbor finally stepped out fully from across the street. What is wrong with you? She's in labor. Another voice followed. Just move the truck. Patricia lifted her clipboard slightly. I am following procedure. This vehicle is part of an active enforcement action. Daniel turned back sharply. Procedure? She's going into delivery right now. Emily suddenly cried out, louder this time. Her grip on Daniel's hand tightened so hard he felt it in his bones. I think the baby is coming. The driver immediately got out and opened the back door wider. Sir, we need to get her out. Right now. Daniel looked around helplessly, blocked driveway, no exit, no time. And then the worst realization hit him. They were not making it to the hospital. A retired neighbor, Mr. Collins, ran over after hearing the commotion. I'm a former EMT. Let me through. For the first time, Daniel felt a small lifeline of hope. Please, he said quickly. Please help her. Mr. Collins knelt beside Emily, checking her condition fast, professional, focused. She's in active labor. We don't have time. Daniel's stomach dropped. Across the street, more neighbors were now outside, watching, recording, shouting at Patricia. Call an ambulance, someone yelled. I already did, the driver shouted back. Emily let out another sharp cry, her face pale, shaking. Daniel kept holding her hand. You're okay. I'm here. But his voice wasn't steady anymore. Patricia finally spoke again, quieter this time. If the vehicle is moved without clearance, there will be penalties. That sentence landed like something unreal. Mr. Collins looked up at her, stunned. You're worried about penalties while she's delivering a baby? Emily screamed again, this time different. Everything escalated fast. Head is crowning, Mr. Collins said firmly. Daniel froze. No, 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 no. The SUV became irrelevant instantly. Neighbors rushed closer. Towels appeared. Someone opened the trunk. Someone else held up a jacket for privacy. Patricia stepped back slightly, just one step, as the reality finally broke through her rigid stance. But it was too late to undo anything. Within minutes, Emily was on the back seat, surrounded by neighbors, Daniel holding her hand tightly, while Mr. Collins guided every step calmly. And then, a cry. Small, sharp, real. Silence followed for half a second. Then the baby cried again. A tiny, sharp cry echoed through the neighborhood street. For a moment, nobody moved. Daniel collapsed forward beside the SUV, overwhelmed, holding Emily's hand as tears filled his eyes. She's here, he whispered shakily. Emily laughed weakly through tears, holding the baby against her chest. She's here. The neighbors around them finally exhaled. Relief, shock, disbelief. Even the rideshare driver turned away for a second, emotional after witnessing everything happen right there beside the driveway. Mr. Collins wrapped the newborn carefully in a towel and smiled. She's healthy, he said calmly. A few feet away, Patricia Holloway stood frozen beside the HOA truck. No speech. No clipboard movement. No excuses. Just silence. Then the ambulance finally arrived. Paramedics rushed over quickly, checking both Emily and the baby before looking around at the blocked driveway and the HOA truck still sitting there. One paramedic looked directly at Patricia. You delayed a medical emergency for this? Patricia said nothing. A neighbor answered instead. She blocked them over an HOA violation. The paramedics stared at her in disbelief. By evening, videos of the incident were already spreading online. Neighbors had recorded everything. The blocked SUV, Emily in labor, Daniel begging for help, and Patricia refusing to move the truck. Later that night, Daniel sat quietly in the hospital room holding his newborn daughter while Emily slept beside him, exhausted but safe. A nurse paused near the doorway. People are shocked by what happened today, she said softly. Daniel looked down at his daughter for a long moment before quietly replying. I just don't want this happening to another family. Outside, the HOA truck was finally gone. But the story wasn't.